All right, Greg, let's talk some Patriots who have become the least interesting team in town. It feels like all of a sudden. Just because we're banging our head against the wall with the same sort of stuff here with what you're seeing with this team. And it's obviously gotten frustrating. You're entering a week where they're going to take on the Jets and you're not going to learn anything. So we're going to have to wait a couple of weeks before really digging deep and seeing, is there anything this team can fix and get itself back to being relevant and competitive and threatened for a playoff spot? What's the number one thing here above all else? We beat up Bill Belichick and the conservative play calling, for this entire, week here. That's obviously an issue, but what else really here do you want to see change with this team?
Well, I think the number one thing for me, John, is that Bill Belichick needs to take over the defense, for good. We've seen him. He does this from time to time in the past where he thinks like a group is underperforming or they're not getting the message from the coach, and he steps in and he basically takes over that unit. And he has been the de facto defensive coordinator since Brian Flores left. But the way that I understand it is that the way that it's operated, and Bill sort of has given Steve Belichick and Gerard Mayo a little bit more power every year with the defense since Flores left. But initially when Flores left, Bill was the de facto defense coordinator. He basically directed the game plans. Obviously, those guys and all the coaches have input. They all do. That's how they do it there. They all have their specialty, whether it's third down, red zone, 2-minute, what have you, and how they're going to defend the other team.
Like, Bill would defend a 3rd and 25. He's got a guy for that.
Fire that guy. Anyways, so Bill takes all of that, and he would basically be like, all right, tell Steve and Gerard, all right, this is what the game plan is going to look like. This is what you need to do. Let's draw it all up. And Bill basically puts together like a paint by numbers game plan, a call sheet for these guys for the game. And like, this is what we're going to do in certain situations. These are the calls, mix and match, what have you. So that was my understanding of it. I think Steve and Gerard have gotten a little bit more of control every year. But look, it's not working. I mean, when you have defensive calls like cover 1 robber on 3rd and 25 and cover 0 man with no blitzing on the final touchdown, that's just not nearly good enough. And Bill Belichick needs to step in. He needs to take the play sheet. He needs to make the calls because when Devin McCourty's in the press conference after the game, basically questioning the coaching decisions.
Why were we doing that? Right.
Yeah, basically saying that their coaches had better calls than our coaches. Then I'm sorry, enough's enough, and Bill needs to step in.
Yeah, and you don't see that from the Patriots. You certainly don't see it from someone like Devin McCourty. Like, yeah, we're not in the right place to succeed. And so whoever's in charge of that has to stop. It's a weird dynamic, though, Greg. What's he going to do? Fire his son? Or demote him I mean, no matter what, stepping in at this point and taking over is awkward.
Yeah, but I mean, the season and Bill's legacy, I think, trump all, in my opinion, and they should. I mean, look, if the defense doesn't get better and start winning them games like they should have in the first six games of the season, which we thought they were going to do, then the season is going to be over. And also, Bill has to know, like, and I mentioned this on Failure and Mass the other day. I had a pretty good NFL source text me the other day in the wake of Sunday night's game. They're basically like, how much do you think it eats at Bill to be watching his legacy to be diminished by the week? And they're not wrong. Like, when Bill's very prideful about his record and his standing in the NFL. And look, I love Belichick as a coach. I think he's tremendous. I think a lot of the heat that he's gotten is a little bit overrated, but he has gotten himself into this mess. And I think the only person who's going to get him out of this mess is himself. And he needs to step in before this gets out of control. And then, not only are we talking about another lost season for the Patriots, but we're talking about things like, has the game passed them by? Do they need to do with Belichick what the Cowboys did with Tom Landry, what the Dolphins did with Don Shula, et cetera, et cetera? And I don't think it needs to come to that. I don't think he's lost his look. Does he throw 98 anymore? No. But he still throws 95 and could shut a team down when needed. And I think he needs to do that starting this week.
Yeah, well, it's not that. That's the thing. Everyone has to take it. You have to be on one side or the other. It was, he's washed up the games passed him by. It was all Brady due to his success. Or yes, there are things have changed and he could use some help. It's a matter of whether or not he's going to recognize that. I don't know whether that's the case. Whether it's bringing in different assistants, bringing in other people who are going to assist more in personnel decisions. I know Bill has this mentality of, I know this game. I know what a football player looks like. I know how this works. But a lot of things have changed, and it does look like he's a little bit behind the times in some things. So he does need a little bit more. I think it's up to him to just say, yeah, somebody throw me a rope here in some particular areas. You're saying he needs to take over the defense entirely. I'd say, why not bring in other people? Bring in people who can make the decisions for you that you fully have to trust, and you don't have to do this defense by numbers thing that they're doing here. Is that beyond the realm of possibility? Like, you've never seen Bill hire a, top flight assistant and just come in and do it their way.
Yeah, I don't. He's never done that, so I haven't really entertained it. I mean, I tell you, I don't want to see, Matt Patricia brought down from the booth or anything like that, and
Right.
I don't think I think they want to avoid that. Especially during the middle of the season, they're not bringing anybody in from the outside. It would have
No.
to be somebody who knows the Patriots
Yeah.
scheme. I would
There's
love
only
to
so
see.
many Scarnecchias you can dust off and bring them in mid-season to help you, right?
I think they should bring Fredo back into the fold. Mangini.
That would be
So,
great.
we need some more things to write about. So bring
If we
back
don't have
Fredo.
Yeah. If you don't have success, we like stories. That'd be a great
Exactly.
story,
Yeah.
right?